Good evening to all. I, Akhilesh Vyas, on behalf of Adhivakta Parishad Punjab, is here to discuss on the topic of dimensions and implications of Uniform Civil Code. Uniform Civil Code these days is one of the most discussed subject in the country. And today we have with us Shri Chetan Mittal ji, Senior Advocate and former Assistant Solicitor General of India. There is nobody better than him who could have explained the implications and the dimensions of the Uniform Civil Code. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
So let us start with the introduction part of Uniform Civil Code in context to the citizens of the country.
Actually, the background of this Uniform Civil Code is being misinterpreted and misinformed. The framers of the Constitution, even at the time of debates, Dr. Ambedkar, Gandhiji and everybody, they were in favor of bringing Uniform Civil Code. Because India, after so many years of rule by Britishers and then earlier Muslims, the implementation for the best reasons known to those framers was slightly postponed. So they brought in the Constitution Article 44 under the directive principle of state policy. But if you read the debates, the uniformity amongst marriage, succession, empowerment of women and uniformity in respect of other fields beyond religion, tribal, different states, different rituals, the intention of the framers were very clear. They wanted to bring uniformity everywhere. Coupled with the fact that repeatedly our Supreme Court has directed the government to frame this Uniform Civil Code so that the fundamental secularism which we talk every day and national integration takes place. This is the background of UCC.
What are the challenges of implementing Uniform Civil Code?
The problem in this country over decades has increased considerably whenever you bring some reforms. And I personally feel the present government, having so much of majority, must bring these reforms. There will be always backlash, some religious leader taking the stand that it will affect their fundamental rights or the freedom of religion and all. We have to explain. Everybody who is either a politician, whether in legal field or anywhere else, or even the media, they have to, this is the turning point in Indian history, that after reforms being brought in the majority Hindu Succession Act, Hindu Marriage Act, India has really changed. The step of UCC will also empower women in other religions also. There must be some protest when Hindu Marriage Act came, Hindu Succession Act came, there was a recent amendment. So these kind of protests and these kind of overturns will ever come. But fundamentally, if somebody is saying that their religion will be affected or something, that is absolutely wrong. Even under Hindu Marriage Act or Succession Act, customary law has been given exception to. If you want to follow the old law, you can do. But there is another liberty given, that there is Uniform Civil Code. For example, some people ask, there is no draft. No draft is required. Already Special Marriage Act is there. Indian Succession Act is there. Government with certain, making some parameters, maybe regarding Hindus also there are different parameters. They may bring and say that this law will apply to everybody. So it's a very simple thing to understand. This is being unnecessarily linked with the religion. To my mind, 95% is empowerment of women, which has already taken place amongst the Hindus and has shown the results. Hindus in India, women are participating everywhere, be that Hindu, but thanks to those reforms which have already taken place, the time has come. Yes, challenges, political overtones will be there. Whenever you bring reforms, even at the time of triple talaq, when the Supreme Court directed and government brought the legislation, there were protests. So ultimately, how many women are being now given benefit of that law? Nobody talks. Even there is no protest. So whosoever is protesting, to my mind, they should be asked with the question humbly, whether they want that their daughters should be given right, whether they want that their daughters who are less than minor 18 years, they should be married or not, they should be given succession right, there should be equality. Answer privately will be no. So reforms always create problems. We have to accept this challenge. And with a strong government in the center, with so much of majority, the time has come, according to me, to bring this legislation at the earliest.
Right. So now my next question will arise from the discussion which you made in the second question, that why is so that religious and minority groups are under the risk, or they are so-called risk which is being created by them, that there will be infringement of their rights?
I tell you, there's a background to it. In Shah Bano's case, when the question of maintenance to a Muslim woman came, the Supreme Court came heavily and they said no, irrespective of religion, our fundamentals, Article 44 and the framers of the Constitution have thought of Uniform Civil Code. And in at the time of granting of maintenance, we can't say whether A is a Muslim or a Hindu or a Christian. Actually, the government at the relevant time buckled under the political pressure. And that's why one senior Congress leader has resigned and now he's the governor. And he was a Muslim. I think we did a blunder mistake at that time. If in terms of the intention of the Constitution and of the judgment of the Supreme Court in Shah Bano's case, we could have done a biggest reform for our country in this regard. Because the government buckled at that time for votes or whatever reason, we are facing this challenge now. So these challenges will come. Thereafter, there are a number of judgments. I give you one example. In IPC section 375, exception to 375, a minor, whether a wife, in certain religion it is allowed less than 18. Now the question arose that whether intercourse with minor will come under the exception. Supreme Court said child is child. Whether 12 years, 13 years, whether in their personal laws that is permitted. The Supreme Court judgment is final. They said no, minor will be 18 only. The law of IPC. So these are the contradictions. Once IPC is applicable to everybody, penal laws are applicable, the religious, whatever, under any religion, there is a different age. Once the country is one, laws, penal laws are everyone, civil laws are also same. Wherever there will be conflict, it is, Supreme Court has already given the judgment that these will be applicable. Then there is no question of maintaining that age. The intention of UCC is to bring everything at par. Like Christian, another judgment in this before the Supreme Court, where a Christian lady was not illegitimate, in the case of illegitimate child, was not considered as a natural guardian. Now you will find out the husband first, which is, we have been, all the women organization will be up in arms if this kind of question comes or told to people. Whereas in Hindu law, she will be a natural guardian. You need not to look into the father. On one time, we are even talking about that woman, mother, single mother, should be entitled to have a passport. Her name is sufficient. Why father's name is required? We are talking about 18 and 21. Why to keep 18 for women and 21 for men? Why can't be one age? You mean to say husband is always elder, and this concept is also being debated. So country is going somewhere else. Women in India is going somewhere else. People from other countries are coming and looking at women the way they are in everywhere, in jobs and everything. So I personally feel these religious leaders or religious are basically more of political. So these voices will not be a challenge. Once these legislation comes, reformist movement or reformist act will always have protest by some or the other clause. Even amongst the Hindus, some panchayat decides today. Even we get every day in Punjab, Haryana High Court, the protection matters because some panchayat or some group doesn't accept it. But there is a law. They get a protection. So that law, unless is in place, no citizen will get that protection. And slowly the mindset of those people, whether panchayat or any other community or small community or small village, they are also changing. So reforms always have a backlash, protest, religious leaders thinking that something is being imposed upon them. But our constitution is supreme. The courts have already decided the issue, and the apprehension that their religious rights will be affected is absolutely untrue. So this is my view on this.
So how does the implementation of Uniform Civil Code affects the law of marriage and gender justice specifically?
The entire law which requires UCC as on today, or not earlier, is relatable to women empowerment, to my mind. Whether it is in the Marriage Act, the grounds of divorce, in some acts, even in some religion, Catholic or anybody else, even divorce is not permitted. So if there will be a law in place, yes, you want to follow that, you can follow, nobody prohibits you. But if there will be an option which is universally applicable to everybody, irrespective of religions, if somebody goes and get themselves registered under that and they want to follow, there will be an option to them. So Uniform Civil Code virtually does not affect those fundamental or old laws, I will say, or customary laws or existing religious, some laws, whatever in any other religion. But once there will be a Uniform Civil Code, if somebody opts for that, get their marriage registered under that, they will be very happy to follow that. There is an option. So it is not abrogating everything. That impression given by these political or religious leaders is absolutely wrong.
So moving on with the conversation, what I can gather is, and the kind of debate which is going on in the country, do we really somewhere or the other feel that India is some late in implementing the Uniform Civil Code?
Absolutely. I tell you, even somebody was debating that why Hindus are not subjected to this. Hindu law, fortunately, for whatever good, bad reason, was amended from time to time. 1955, we brought Hindu Marriage Act. Hindu Succession Act, recognizing customary law, also brought. Till recent time, HUF has become redundant. The daughters have been given right in co-parcelary property. Now, HUF is only for the purpose of income tax. So, if we would have brought this simultaneously or maybe later, taking into confidence the religious leader or all other relevant people, that this law is giving benefit, they are not losing anything. I personally feel whatever delay has happened, the turning point was Shabano, which turned out to be against the UCC implementation, but positive is triple talaq, the latest amendment. That has been implemented and nobody is now making any, rather those very leaders after everything was done, they were claiming, no, we were also in favor, but they were giving some small provision, no, this was not good, that's why we were protesting.
Probably once implemented, now accepted
by the society. And that very religious group which was protesting, they are not protesting anywhere now. So these things, problem will come.
So what are the legal issues which can be addressed if the Uniform Civil Code comes into?
I personally feel if the government is going with the spirit of what UCC was envisaged initially or is being debated today, there is cannot be any legal challenge. It is already in place in the provisions of the electoral constitution is concerned. They are not bringing some constitution amendment in the act, in the constitution. Yes, there are always a problem once you bring some constitution amendment that it is against basic structure. Constitution provision is already there. Article 44 is there. Debates of the constitution is very clear. Only problem which can be subject to judicial review is there wherever it affects their fundamental right of practice, religion and all, Article 25 or any other provision. I personally feel whatever discussion, government level, or there is some draft which is being in place or in whether confirmed or unconfirmed in case of Uttarakhand, or we see at Goa which has already uniform civil code is there. Those rights are protected. I don't think so. With that, it is any judicial review is possible, and there are already directions by the Supreme Court to implement UCC. So nobody can say that it has not tested the judicial review of the Supreme Court. Rather, Supreme Court is directing in so many cases that you implement UCC. Why you are delaying it? So the problems have already come to the notice of the judiciary. So judicial review, I don't think so will be possible. So if government brings the legislation with the spirit which being debated or which was under Article 44.
So like once we discussed it with the scope of the laws of marriage, laws of gender justice, how do we deal uniform civil code and law of succession? Somewhere or the other, law of succession is also one of the debatable issues.
Law of succession, as far as wherever there is no uniformity, is basically of widow and daughter. So the difference is daughter and widow.
Right.
With India growing economically, education also is another thing. Now the educated people of any religion, irrespective of whatever religious sentiments or religious practices or religious law is there, they are not against this. They want to give right to the wife or widow. Everybody now is concerned. The changing time, India is growing every year at the international level. They have reached at some level. So they are not averse to give. And they want to give to the daughter also. They want to protect the right of the widow also. They want to protect the wife or anybody. So succession laws, which is lacking vis-a-vis uniformity, is in relation to women's right only.
Right.
Rest is there already. So once it is uniformly made applicable that daughter has the right and everything, initial problems will come. But more or less, it is now will be accepted. Some litigation, some disputes will always arise. It is arising already where in Hindu Succession Act there are disputes already. So those are civil disputes of any kind. But once the right is created, women will also understand, men will also understand. Once we are talking about equality in the constitution and everywhere, I am sometimes surprised where are the women organizations? Only why religious people are speaking? Why women organization who talks of equality or gender equality in particularly, why they are not supporting UCC? The problem is even those organizations are not aware of or they don't want to. This is the biggest reform. Forget the name UCC. I will say it is the biggest reform for women empowerment.
Right. So moving on with it, if we go by the example that there are 4 houses in a lane, and a daughter belonging to a Hindu family, a daughter belonging to a Muslim family, a daughter belonging to a Sikh family, or let us say a Christian family. So all the women will be having the same rights with regard to that. This is what can be called in a layman language.
Yes. Like we talk every day about GST. So GST has brought national integration, we say. For GST, rather, we were compelled to make an amendment in the constitution. So today, this is like we say the modern India. Somebody from Punjab can go to any state, Maharashtra, Gujarat and all, do business freely. Taxation is not a problem. So this will give freedom to anybody belonging to any religion. Interreligious marriages are increasing. After intercaste, interreligious marriages also increasing. Now, the younger generation in India wants these laws. But the problem is they are not forthcoming in front because nobody wants to go into these controversies. In the hearts of everybody, the young India needs this and they want it. So like you said, in 4 houses, different laws. This is what equality is. So in succession, once we are part of same country, one country, all laws for everybody, the same laws. This is part of this.
So as we have been continuously hearing the news and the newspaper articles with regard to that, there are some political groups or some political parties, I would say, who are specifically in the state of Punjab, are apprehending that there is some infringement of rights of Uniform Civil Code. Why is that is coming up, and will it really affect, or is it just an apprehension or a myth which is being created?
Like in Punjab, SGPC has stated some objection to this. They are welcome. They should object wherever they feel there is infringement. But I personally feel somebody should explain to them that even within 6 to whom I am talking, they are not aware of anything. They are saying that we are already following Hindu Marriage Act and Hindu Succession Act. And as far as the this Marriage Act they are talking about of old 1900, there is no provision of divorce and anything. That's why they are following Hindu Marriage Act and Hindu Succession. And look, Punjab, whether it is from Punjab, whether it is Hindu or Sikhs, wherever they have gone all over India or at the international level, women are going ahead of men. The key post in any managerial job, key post in business, key post in bureaucracy of Punjab, you will see women performing because they have been given, they were empowered because of these legislations. In the matter of succession, they are already governed. As far as the daughter's right is there, it's already there. Rather, they should be informed and they should be told that there is no infringement of their fundamental right of practice, religion, or their any customary laws. That is already protected under the present legislation of Hindu Marriage Act and Hindu Succession Act. In spite of that, certain people will in Punjab or anywhere in any state will speak against it for their own political reasons. All over world also, if you will see, prior to even 1925, the woman right to vote was given in England for the first time. From how many years it took? Our constitutional framers in 1947 wanted to give this. They were having a vision that we have to empower women. We have given voting right to women at the first instance. So if we would have gone by that as per religion we will give it, then the question of voting right would have also opened. Different religion have different thoughts. So we are not governed by any religious religion in India. We were governed by constitution. So these kind of voices will come. This is unfortunate. But if we will debate with them or at the public forum, they are already being protected. So whether it is SGPC or any other group in Punjab, they should rather tell people that yes, we have already followed this, and because of that our women have gone ahead, not within the state, not within India, but at the level of international also.
Right. So broadly speaking, once we have discussed with regard to laws of marriage, laws of succession, different religious groups having their own opinions which are coming forward. Now, if we go by the Uniform Civil Code, the question which is on the mind of the youth continuously posing is that what are the benefits of Uniform Civil Code? Why now? And if now, what are the benefits of the larger aspect broadly which can really benefit the generation which is coming forward?
Actually, the youth is asking today because of the being ill-informed. Through this discussion which you are doing today, I personally feel they will rather, after hearing these kind of debates, will say, why we have not done in past. And once most of the people I am talking to, whether is any educated person, he is not even aware of that amongst the Hindus this legislation has come. So the youth who is asking you, he has already taken benefit of that. majority population amongst the Hindus are not aware of that today if a daughter or any woman is standing next to you and contributing equal with you is because of these laws. What UCC will do, this will give benefit to other religions, tribes, caste, or wherever these old systems are going. Maybe in this process, there may be some changes in the Hindu laws also. There may be a requirement with the passage of time or to bring uniformity. Like I said, there is a 18 or 21 there is a debate going on. Why 21 and 18 now? Once we can debate in the court, we are talking on one side the same sex, giving right to them. First of all, let's give right to at least to the women for which we are every day raising voice. We have brought against dowry the law, but if you will say this dowry will apply only to one set of religion, this is to be told. Domestic Violence Act we are bringing, whether Domestic Violence Act will be only applicable to one section of society. Why not to everybody? So if you will tell youth that the idea of UCC is to bring uniformity amongst the law, whether it is Hindus, Sikhs, whether Christians and anybody, there can be very good laws amongst the other communities also. So the idea is take best of that, bring uniformity. Nice. So these debates will be very, very helpful, and more information is required to be given to the youth. And I think personally they will realize that it is too late rather it should have been done immediately.
So, as you suggested in the last point, that incomplete knowledge is dangerous. So this is what is growing on. This is what has created an apprehension in the mind of everybody. And negative aspect is highlighted more and the positive aspect is not known, that it is already enshrined in the Constitution of India, rather now it is being forwarded to the masses now. Now if we go by that, how do we deal with Uniform Civil Code and the equality? Gender justice explained, law of marriage you very well said. Now if we go by the equality, apart from the women, any other example which can be given for quoted with regard to that?
No, even forget the men and women, even there are laws in some groups with regard to tribals in some other states where the eldest son is given only the right of more succession or something. Now, this system of recognizing elder son only inheriting and then he becomes everybody, like if you talk about HUF concept or co-personally, the eldest son, recognition of the eldest son was there, he becomes the karta. Now that thing has to go.
Even if he is capable or not?
So now that is ignored. Now under the Hindu succession or Indian succession, everybody has equal right. So amongst male also there is discrimination. So this will cover every aspect. That's why I said like age 18 and 21. Why 21 for male? Because the thought process behind it is that husband is always have to be elder. Why not 19 or 20 for both? So it's a simple thing. The mindset has to change. Whether male or male, within male also there is a problem. Married daughter, unmarried daughter, this is another problem. So that right has already amongst Hindus have been rationalized. But other religions, other groups, other tribes are still following the old system. And after, I think once it came, thankfully, maybe in this session or whatever is being debated, maybe in the next session, you see after 6 months or 1 year, like triple talaq, nobody will utter a word. So this is the need of the hour, especially, maybe there is some delay, especially the modern India where one person, I give sometime example, one Punjabi going to Maharashtra, marrying a woman who doesn't even understand Punjabi. Then their sons and daughters, one getting married to Christian and one marrying to Muslim. And entire, now they are working together. But as far as the laws will be concerned, if one son is getting married in Christianity and any other, he will feel that what is this? There are the laws of inheritance, because property in India or any other country is a protection, a financial protection by way of inheritance. So within the family, once modern India is going ahead, inter-caste, interstate, inter-religion marriages are taking place. One of the son who is in a different place or a different state, following different system, will not get inheritance. Within the family, somebody will get even. How you will reconcile that? So, need of the hour, once India is changing, we are going beyond state boundaries, we are going beyond caste and religion. I think the requirement of UCC is must.
So as you have been practicing for so many years and you have been guiding so many people, as far as this topic is concerned, how do we correlate the litigation aspect, that if Uniform Civil Code is implemented, do you really feel somewhere or the other that unhealthy litigation which is going on due to such aspects will decrease, or it is going to give a new rise to the such kind of, no doubt it is to be seen after the implementation, but somewhere or the other, just with your experience and expertise?
Initially, what I personally feel, when these reforms came amongst the Hindus also, litigation increased. Initially, litigation will increase. But our purpose of society is to give equality, harmonize the things. Once harmonization, the effect of this, the giving right to somebody, is bigger than anything, whether litigation or no litigation. If the woman or a male or anybody is given, the heart burning will reduce. The women empowerment, which is being now recognized worldwide, if you look at the history of US, the woman was not given any right initially. So with the passage of time, they gave them the right, and thereafter they are progressing. We see other countries also. We are also already in the line. So the social welfare is more important for me than litigation. The litigation type will change. Once the woman or any other person is given right, then right will overcome everything. So the face of the litigation will initially change, ultimately it will reduce.
So now coming back to the last question, as you started off by saying, giving an example of particular state like Goa. So like Goa has a common family law. So how do you really feel that it will be state-wise or a unified country-wise? How to implement? This is what the
it's a very good beginning by Uttarakhand. They have already appointed a retired Supreme Court judge to look into all these aspects. Till the central legislation come, if some state wants to implement, there is no harm. You will have an example of, you are already having an example of Goa, though it's a tiny state, but there is an example. But tomorrow Uttarakhand or any big state will do, and ultimately the central legislation will come. Let that state may not implement it, and the people will, in democracy, the people answer accordingly. If you will not implement, there will be real test of reforms, whether people are liking or not. So to my mind, this Goa example is very good. Uttarakhand is following, and maybe other more states will follow. But my personal view is that if the central government takes this, that will be much better approach, which will be uniformly applicable to all the states. If any state says, I don't want to implement, people will answer accordingly. Nice. That is the beauty of the democracy.
So we are very thankful to you.
I am thankful to you
for the brief overview of the entire subject of Uniform Civil Code, which has been discussed in the entire country. I, along with the entire team of Adhivakta Parishad Punjab, is grateful to you for spending and for sparing such time with us. And in the forthcoming days also, we'll be taking the discussion forward with regard to the Uniform Civil Code and the other correlated.
I'm very happy that you are taking this to every corner of Punjab or every corner of India, because these debates, these discussion will clarify the situation, and people will at least be able to understand it, and they can question those people who are raising these disputes, that it will affect their religious rights or their fundamental right to practice. So with this, that I'm thankful to Adhivakta Parishad that they are taking this at all India level also and in every state also, especially in the state of Punjab. Thank you so much.